back into Gem Hunter's last question, and I know we can't talk, full in depth on this, but token utility and things that you see coming.
Yeah, so we'll have a little meta conversation about this. We are still not in a position where we are able to put a very clear explanation out into the public on exactly how our tokens operate in the ecosystem, and there's a very simple answer for that. It's not that we don't have it planned. In fact, a very creative and sort of good detectives out there can probably actually piece together a lot of what our plan is, because we've been talking about it in various ways for about a year. But ultimately, the reason that we're not sharing it yet is quite simple. The SEC, the FCA, the major financial regulators in sort of tier 1 jurisdictions around the world have coalesced around a pretty easy to understand definition for the classification of a token as either a security or as a utility token. And that classification is how soon after the token is launched can its prescribed utility be exercised. So what that means is, if we launch a token today and we say that token is meant to allow somebody to buy a basketball, if we don't turn around and make those basketballs for another couple years, the financial regulators turn around and say, well, that was a security. And the reason that they say it's a security is because we use the funds to actually drive future development, future investment. That is the only reason why we have not put out our very clear path of exactly what the tokens are used for. We've just been very general and said it's a governance token. So I think, again, anyone that's been listening carefully will know that the day that we're going to be sharing that information is coming very soon, because we've already shared that the launch day for our Launchpad Investor Score is also coming very soon. So those two announcements are going to be coming hand in hand. And as I said, the reason for that is largely speaking a legal regulatory one.
I think that answers it pretty well for everybody. So Hakitos is asking what will happen next with the ambassador program. In my opinion, it did not bring the project a large community. How are you going to proceed? So we were just talking about this today. So first off, the goal of the ambassador program, the first project, wasn't necessarily to bring a large community to Bird. For now, in that first phase was to kind of feel out the community and to see how active and how interested people were, and if they were willing to, how open and willing to jump in and do some things. Everyone was, and clearly, from what we've seen, there's a lot of people here who are excited to join in and help us in the project. So that's first thing. Second thing, specific project itself. We've been using the tool Gleam as the scoreboard, and we've kind of maxed out its capabilities in terms of listing more tasks and growing. So we've achieved the goal of seeing the people that are involved. So we're going to edit the program a little bit from 30 to 20 tasks. And that'll be our line for where we'll be giving out our ambassador badge. And then the next thing that we're working on, which isn't immediate, but will be in the near future, is putting together more specific contests for the community in which we're rewarding with valuable rewards, whether it be tokens or something of monetary value. But these contests will be, actual creating content and doing work that when it's utilized by Bird, the rewards will be seen. So that's kind of the direction we're going. It's not fully fleshed out yet, but that's the plan. And I'll be asking the community for ideas and starting to poll and see what the community would like to be doing. But we're really going to dig into this and really, try to get some valuable work from the community and valuable, tools here where we can all grow together. I think that answers kind of the general questions. Do you have thoughts you want to add to that, Daniel?
No, the only thing I'd add is, and this is kind of a generic comment, don't be shy about making suggestions. A lot of the design for this program was instigated by comments and suggestions that we got from the community. So as we start shifting gears and thinking forward, let's just make sure that you guys are, offering us all of the inputs and, insights that you have.
Yeah, in my mind, this first phase was a lot of kind of a test phase, and now we're really going to hit the ground going with some bigger picture work. So I'm really excited about things. That hits all the questions from previously from Telegram and from the. One just came in. Any update on when rewards will be sent out? So we'll be minting NFTs here in the near future and sending them out to the people who have won them. We have some more to pick. And someone's asking about the Solana NFT. Any quick update there?
Yeah, so actually we were just talking to developers this morning about it. No new launch date yet, but final testing is pretty much done. So now we're really just trying to organize ourselves around marketing and, doing our best to try to plan around and, to the extent it's possible, some of the challenges that the Solana network has had recently. So look for a launch date to be announced on the Solana ANFTs very, very soon.
Great. So that's it for questions in the chats that we've received. We have the capability for everyone here to raise hands and ask questions. So does anyone have any questions at this point? Think we've answered them all.
Yeah, I don't see anything else, Eric, that we missed. Scanning through one more time quickly. Day in life bird use case from a VC perspective might be used. So walking users through. I know this is you putting in that there, Eric, but maybe it would be worthwhile to just kind of quickly talk about more tactically, how we're working with venture capital partners right now. I think they're certainly with how frequently announcements are coming out about, company X raising, Y in seed rounds. It may appear as if these processes are a bit less intensive than they actually are. So to put it in perspective, so we got a diligence request from one of the first VCs that we were introduced through Binance. And let me pull it up here. It was something like 5,000 characters long. It's like a 3-page list of questions. For us to answer those questions is likely going to generate 20, 30 pages of narration and editorialization. So, we're talking about going through that process with potentially a dozen or more of these venture capital partners. So I say this so that the community has an understanding of, if for example, somebody like me is a little less active in Telegram over the next few weeks, or you see a slight, downtick in partnerships, any kind of change in our pace, the reason for that is almost certainly going to be that VCs are incredibly demanding when it comes to the information they need to move forward with an investment. So just expect that we're going to be quite busy with those relationships over the next month or two, and we'll always try our best to offer interim updates to the extent that we can. But as I said a couple of times now, until agreements are fully signed and the NDA clauses in there are fully vetted, obviously we just can't mention anything specific about them. So yeah, Eric, I don't see any other topics in here that we missed. There's somebody typing at the moment, so maybe we'll just give them a second to potentially ask one last question since we've got a few more minutes here.
Sure. So while something just crossed my mind here is go ahead.
Let me just answer this question, Eric. I'm just trying to think of exactly how transparent we can be here. Because the other consideration is that, there's 8 other project teams that are going through the same process. And so if we sit here and say, this is how our process is going, it does potentially put them in a position where, they may have to explain to their community why theirs isn't going the same way. So this is probably about as far as we'll go at this moment, but we received requests for information from over 35 different entities as part of our demo day presentation, which is about 5 or 6 times more than we actually even have room for in the entire seed round itself. So I think that can give you a sense of just how successful the demo day presentation went, and just how well received Bird's mission is within the broader venture capital community. We're obviously looking very promising to essentially have an oversubscribed, fully closed seed round. But go ahead, Eric. I know there's something else that you wanted to either ask or mention.
No, I was just gonna to circle back to the very beginning about how projects aren't doing this type thing here, and through this conversation we've seen you're working with VCs, you're focused on building out product, you're working on token, you've got a lot on your plate, but are taking the time to focus on this here. What's the importance to you? Why are you so focused on this here conversation, communicating with the community and everything?
I think there's 2 answers to that. One is our self-interest. Without you guys, we don't have much anymore. I think it's one of the coolest things about crypto is you foster these incredibly tight bonds with your investor community, such that there's kind of mutually assured destruction. Without us, you guys got nothing, and without you, we got nothing. It's actually quite a wonderful symbiotic relationship. So I think, it's definitely a very pragmatic, self-interested tactic to make sure that we're always taking care of you guys. But I think the other side of it is very personal for me. I'm an economist at heart. I have always believed very deeply in the power of incentives, the power of collaboration, of human interaction when it comes to building great things. And so for me, this is just an amazing experiment to see that theory tested in the wild. Can having a much more collaborative and close-knit relationship with a group of thousands of corporate investors create something that can't be created in the traditional finance space? And I think the answer to that is yes, and we're doing that now. So to me, that's the more interesting answer to the question is, this grand experiment that millions of people have jumped in with both feet on, called blockchain. What are we going to create out of it? And I think it goes well beyond the technology and can start influencing society and culture. And to me, like I said, that's incredibly exciting. It's one of the things that gets me up every day. It's one of the things that gives me the energy to spend more time in Telegram when perhaps I wouldn't want to. It's that really exciting potential of building something not just with a great team of engineers, but with a broader community of people that have a variety of skills and perspectives and value that they can bring to the table.
I think that's a great answer to wrap up on. One more question, just quick one popped in about Twitter verification. And have we heard from Twitter or anything like that?
I have no idea what that's about. So why don't we circle back with the social team?
Getting a blue check on Twitter saying we're real.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, like I said, let's circle back with the social team. I don't know what progress has been made there. Yeah, but good question.
Perfect. All right, so I think we'll wrap up. Like I said in the beginning, we're going to be trying every 2 weeks to be doing this. It's important, so we want to be on it. Thank you for everybody coming. And there's one more Gleam score opportunity here. It's so the code for this conversation is wings. And we're going to leave it open. So if you don't have all the points yet, there's some simple Twitter follow, retweet type stuff that's a little older that you could load in a few points and get yourself above the 20 line and get it there. But we're loving communicating with everybody and excited to keep this rolling like this. So thank you everyone for coming.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We'll see you in 2 weeks, right, Eric?
Yes, yeah, that'll be the plan. All right, thank you everyone. Have a good afternoon.